In a sun-drenched meadow, nestled beside a quiet, whispering wood, lived Luna, a golden retriever whose heart was as golden as her fur. Her world had recently shrunk to the size of 3 tiny, wriggling bodies, her puppies. They were her dawn, her dusk, and every joyful moment in between. One was bold, always the first to tumble out of their cozy den. Another was shy, preferring the warmth of his mother's side. The third was a little explorer, his nose perpetually twitching with curiosity. For Luna, they were not just her children. They were 3 perfect, irreplaceable pieces of her soul. Their days were a gentle symphony of soft yelps, playful nips, and the comforting rhythm of suckling. Luna would watch them for hours, her amber eyes soft with a love so profound it was a physical presence. She'd lick them clean until their fur shone, her rough tongue a promise of safety and endless affection. The world was a place of wonder, a canvas of green grass and blue skies, and she was their fierce, unwavering protector. But the world holds shadows, even in the brightest of meadows. One evening, as twilight painted the sky in hues of orange and purple, a different kind of darkness crept in. An unpredictable, chilling silence fell over the woods, a silence that Luna's instinct screamed was wrong. A predator, swift and merciless, emerged from the tree line. It was a blur of gray fur and sharp teeth, a nightmare given form. The attack was a maelstrom of chaos and terror. Luna fought with the ferocity of a lioness, a desperate, snarling whirlwind of maternal rage. She threw herself at the intruder, her love for her puppies forged into a weapon. But the predator was a creature born of wilderness and hunger, and the fight was brutally short. The disaster struck with the finality of a lightning bolt. When the dust settled and the terrible sounds faded, Luna was left alone. The silence that followed was heavier, more suffocating than any sound. Her 3 perfect pieces were gone. Grief is a cruel ocean, and Luna was lost in its depths. The meadow, once a paradise, was now a graveyard of memories. The scent of her puppies lingered like a ghost in their den. She would circle the empty space, a low, keening cry tearing from her throat, a sound of pure, undiluted agony. Tears, real and salty, tracked paths through the fur on her face as she lay with her head on her paws, her body trembling with silent sobs. She'd nudged the toys they'd played with, her nose seeking a spark of the life that had been so cruelly extinguished. Her world had lost its sun. Days bled into a gray, meaningless blur. Luna stopped eating. The vibrant gold of her coat dulled. She would wander to the edge of the woods, staring into the shadows that had stolen her world, her heart a cold, heavy stone in her chest. The swings of emotion were violent. One moment she was paralyzed by a crushing sadness. The next she was filled with a burning, helpless rage. She was a mother with no one to mother, a protector with nothing left to protect. One rainy afternoon, as Luna lay shivering in her empty den, a new sound pierced her grief. It was a faint, pitiful mewling, carried on the wind. Her first instinct was to ignore it, to retreat further into her pain. But the sound persisted, a tiny, desperate plea for help. Dragging her weary body, she followed the noise to a ditch by the side of a nearby road. There, abandoned in a cardboard box, was a tiny, scruffy kitten, soaked and trembling with cold and fear. Something deep within Luna, a maternal instinct she thought had died with her puppies, stirred. She looked at the helpless creature, and for the first time in what felt like an eternity, her heart, shattered as it was, felt a flicker of something other than pain. Gently, she nudged the kitten with her nose. It let out another weak cry. With a tenderness she hadn't felt since the tragedy, Luna carefully picked up the tiny animal by the scruff of its neck, just as she had done with her own babies. She carried it back to her den, the warm, dry space that had been a tomb of sorrow. She laid down and curled her body around the shivering kitten, sharing her warmth. The kitten, feeling the heat and the soft beat of her heart, snuggled close and began to purr, a sound like a tiny, rumbling engine of hope. That night, for the first time since the attack, Luna did not cry herself to sleep. She had a new purpose. She licked the kitten clean, stimulated it to eat the food a kind stranger began leaving for them, and guarded it with the same fierce devotion she had given her own. The kitten, in turn, healed her. It would bat at her nose, chase her tail, and sleep curled up on her head. It didn't replace her puppies, nothing ever could, but it filled the echoing silence. It was not the family she had, but it was the family she had now. In the heart of a grieving mother, a tiny, improbable seed of love had been planted, and against all odds, it had begun to grow.